Welcome to the Content Repurposer podcast, where we explore innovative ways authors can repurpose their book's content for greater impact. I'm your host, Pooja Arshanapalli, and today we're diving into the world of Cultish by Amanda Montell. Cultish is a book about, you guessed it, cults. And I know that there's so many documentaries out there and information out there talking about cults, but I feel that Amanda Montell has modernized this topic and also has found a way to make it more informative without it being too serious. She talks about famous cults like Jonestown, but I think today it feels as if cults have gone away because they don't appear to be as extreme. She talks about how specific language patterns are used to attract, influence, and control individuals from cults, movements, and various organizations and groups. Through this book, it shows that even though we have gone away from the known cult leader, it doesn't mean that we don't have characteristics that could be resembled as a cult. Some examples that she discusses are SoulCycle, CrossFit, MLMs, and a lot more. In June 2021, she published the book Cultish. She later then earned praise from the Washington Post, The Atlantic, Carcass Reviews, and more. Cultish was named a Best Book of 2021 by NPR, was shortlisted for several prizes including Goodreads Choice Awards, Get Abstract International Book Award, and her book was rated a 4.2 on Amazon and a 3.8 on Goodreads. After she published the book, she found different ways to market and spread the mission behind the book. One of the most popular ways that I found her through was her podcast, Sounds Like a Cult. It was literally right after the book she decided to create the podcast, which I found interesting. And I guess she knew right off the bat that this was the best way to grow and sustain her audience, so might as well start now. She dedicated everyone to her episodes to discuss a certain topic that could have language or behaviors that resemble a cult. And not all of the topics are that serious. And I know some of her episodes involve her talking about the cult of Stanley Cups. But for a book, I know it can be hard to list out all the topics that you wanted to focus on in the book, and the podcast that she has can allow her to have a bigger discussion around a specific topic. And I think the overall goal was to get people to understand how certain qualities, characteristics, and ideas can lead to an unhealthy obsession and feel culty. The podcast Sounds Like a Cult won Best Emerging Podcast at the 2023 iHeartRadio Podcast Awards and was named a Best Podcast of 2022 by Vulture, Esquire, Marie Claire, and others. And I know in a lot of my episodes, each author has at least 3 to 4 different revenue streams, but it doesn't mean starting off you have to go through that approach. One thing that she was really good at is collaborating with other people. When I searched her name on YouTube, I could see at least 10 different videos of her collaborating with other people. So if you don't have the means to generate a new income and be able to do it well, another way to spread the mission is to join other audiences to drive traffic back to yourself and the book. She was able to get featured in many media coverage such as Netflix in the documentary How to Be a Cult Leader, the Discovery Plus channel, Vice TV, to name a few. She was also able to feature in many popular podcasts like Anything Goes with Emma Chamberlain, I Weigh with Jamila Jamil, and many more. But she didn't just stop with the book Cultish. She published a couple more books like Word Slut, A Feminist Guide to Taking Back the English Language, and The Age of Magical Overthinking. So a lot of the authors I've highlighted in the past have a lot of time to create new opportunities for themselves, where in this situation, since the book was published in 2021, this means that we could be seeing new things launching in the near future. But that's all I have for today's episode of the Content Repurposer podcast. Join us next time as we continue to explore how authors can repurpose their content for greater impact.